This episode of Daily 1UPdate is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
This is the Daily 1UPdate for July 21st. I'm Justin Haywald.
And I'm Jeremy Parrish.
Today on the show, we're going to be talking about a new game for PSP, Tactics Ogre, which is getting a PSP rebuild, David Carmine and his role in Gears of War 3, a blog that Scooter received at his house for Homefront, a Modern Warfare 2 meets Metal Gear Solid 1 video mashup. But first, we're going to be talking about a few new game announcements out of EA. One of the first games for that is Alice Madness Returns, an American McGee sequel to a first PC classic. One of these games that's, really expensive now, really hard to find. And
is it really?
Yes, this is an expensive game to get on eBay, and so I think a lot of people are excited by this creepy girl coming back to Wonderland.
The premise of the game sounds kind of weird. It reminds me of, the premise is basically Alice, her family died, and she's been in an insane asylum for the past 10 years, and now she's like, she has to save her sanity by going through a platformer or something. But it's basically the same premise that they used for the movie Return to Oz. Do you remember that?
No.
It was like the darker, edgier sequel to Wizard of Oz. So I guess this is American McGee getting even darker and edgier than American McGee's Alice was. That's very exciting. As a fan of dark and edgy things, I'm also excited about Darkspore, which was announced
Speaking
yesterday
of dark
at
and
EA.
edgy.
EA is just darkening it up these days. They're like crazy dark. I can't handle the darkness. Can you?
I can't, but Darkspore kind of does sound interesting in more than just a dark way. Scooter described it as a mashup of Diablo, Magic the Gathering, Spore's creature creation, and the Pokemon tag team battle system.
It is every game you love all in one. But it's not the other game that I love.
I think this is something you're a lot more excited about.
No one is as excited about this as I am. But yeah, Square Enix announced yesterday through Famitsu magazine in Japan that the Super Famicom PlayStation 1 Classic Tactics Ogre is getting a quote-unquote rebuild for PSP. But the important thing about this is that it's, according to Kevin Gifford's story, being spearheaded largely by the same people that were behind the original Tactics Ogre, which is Yasumi Matsuno, who has been out of action after disappearing from the Final Fantasy XII project, I don't know how many years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago. So it's kind of a big deal for that, but it's also a pretty big deal because this is basically the template for Final Fantasy Tactics, which everyone loves, except it's, in a lot of people's opinion, it's a better game, and they're building it up from the ground, refining a lot of the gameplay systems, the artwork's a lot better, it has new graphics, etc., etc. No US release date yet, but I'm holding out hope.
If you think that Final Fantasy games are boring, you might like a little bit of Gears of War 3 news. And one of the things they're doing to build hype for the next Gears of War is they're letting you decide whether to kill off one of the characters, Carmine.
Clayton Carmine.
Clayton Carmine.
I don't know. I haven't played the games yet, but basically it sounds like Clayton Carmine is the new Jason Todd.
Who's Jason Todd?
Did that go over your head? Jason Todd was the second Robin that DC said, hey, you can call in and decide whether or not we're going to kill Robin. That didn't go so well for Jason. I'm going to guess that this is probably not going to go so well for Carmine.
Well, and that they're doing this a little bit of a nicer way, that you'll decide by purchasing t-shirts, either through your Xbox Live avatar or for anyone going to the San Diego Comic-Con, and all of the proceeds for those purchased t-shirts, whether you buy a Save Carmine or Kill Carmine or Carmine Must Die t-shirt, all of those proceeds will go to Child's Play charity.
Have they said how much the t-shirts are going to cost?
The t-shirts, I think, are $20.
Seriously, $20 for an Avatar t-shirt?
Not for the Avatar t-shirt. The Avatar t-shirt should be considerably cheaper.
This is a scam. Activision has got to be all over this.
Or maybe if you bought the Avatar one and you got a real t-shirt in the mail, that'd be cool.
I don't know. That's kind of a weird crossover, bleed over between video games of life. Kind of like the whole. This is crazy. We're segueing like nuts. I'm so good at this. Yeah. Terry Nguyen, our previews editor, recently posted a blog about how he sure gets some weird stuff from video game companies in the mail, which is actually really, really creepy. THQ.
No, we get lots of stuff from companies in the mail. That's not a normal thing. And we get some weird, creepy, stupid stuff, like the time that Body Count sent us some mixed meat with hair and teeth in it.
Yeah, sometimes we get things that are illegal, like, was it Rockstar that sent us Brass Knuckles? Yeah, and those were actually not legal. Yeah, they were recalled.
But this is a creepy because this was sent to his house.
Right, where his family lives, his beloved daughter. THQ said, hey, let's have this video game called Homefront and scare people by sending them propaganda for a North Korean takeover of America. So they sent North Korean propaganda to Terry's house, and they have like photoshops in there of, what is it, a North Korean soldier looking into the family's living room. That's really comforting and heartening. And the thing is, Terry never actually gave THQ his home address. So I guess this is like the sign that North Korea really is invading and they have information everywhere. I don't know.
They might be. But you can check all of that kind of information on his blog. The final story we have for today, though, is a more interesting mashup. A Metal Gear Solid 1 meets Modern Warfare fan-made movie from the guys over at Beatdown Boogie Productions. It's definitely an indie production, but it's kind of a funny satire of the whole Activision takeover thing.
I tend not to be that impressed by mashups like this, and I don't know, this one didn't really do much for me. The filmmakers, quote, say they're a team of indie filmmakers who were fed up with the dull ideas for mainstream media, but this didn't change my world. It didn't set my world on fire. Was it different for you, Justin?
It's silly, it's kind of funny. I like that the shout-outs, the kind of little things they do out to the Metal Gear series, to the franchise in general.
I guess maybe that's it. I'm just a
fan friends will like it.
I've seen a lot of Metal Gear parodies over the years, and you got to bring something new to the table.
Well, you should definitely check out that video and a lot of the other great content we have coming up on 1UP.
Don't mind my cynicism.
That's our show.
Negative contact, vicinity Whiskey Bravo 4.
Be advised, possible hostile Oscar Mike.
Roger, Command. Fire Team Delta securing Sector 5. Sector 5 is secure. Hey, stay frosty.
Contacting Sector 5.